Just a tad late. Got in little festivities. I'm just re-entering the world from. Thank you so much for being with us on this Saturday night. RFK Jr. and Trump bullseyed by the shadow government to destroy liberty and election freedom. They're going to bullseye him. They're coming after him. They're going to come after Trump. You know it's true, ladies and gentlemen. You know it's true. And I'm going to tell you one thing which is more important than anything else. This is critical. I don't want everybody to focus and to understand what's going on. Right now, as we speak, we are in the midst of something which is so important, so important, so critical for everybody to understand. We are in the midst of a change that will forever affect this country. Don't mistake RFK Jr.'s endorsement for anything else. They're trying to tell you that, well, it doesn't really matter. It's not that important. Yes, it does matter. Yes, it does matter. Well, it may not be the swing state. It matters. It matters greatly. There is an entire group of people, more important than you will ever know, an entire group of people who are out there, and this is important. Just a minute. There is an absolute group of people out there who don't know what to make out of this. And we need to teach them. And we need to focus. And we need to let them know specifically what is happening here. Let me tell you something. We are in the middle of the battle of battles. Don't let anybody dissuade you. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, it doesn't really matter. It matters. And they're scared out of their minds. And they've got the worst candidate possible. They have the worst person you've ever imagined. Carmelita is the worst, and they know it. And look, some wonderful pieces today from Breitbart. They are scared. Read between the lines. Breitbart is saying, look, let me just go through this right now. Every now and then I'll see something, and I don't necessarily go to Breitbart just for the hell of it. But hang on a minute. Just a second. Democratic pollsters warn they could be in trouble. Listen to this one. This is very interesting. Democratic Party pollsters are warning that they could be in trouble as their polling has been less reliable than usual in recent elections since Trump's appeal is difficult to measure. President Joe Biden beat Trump by a closer margin than a lot of the polling suggested in 2020, creating an blank moment for the Democratic pollsters. A closer margin. Moreover, polls suggested that Democrats would expand their House majority, but instead they saw it shrink. You're also hearing this one. Gavin Newsom showing a little bit of sour grapes. That's what I've been told to say. Go through these critical. Oh, here we go. The party's over. New York Times warns Democrats joy will not win election for Harris. Cringe. Joy is Kamala's mean girls nonsense. Carolyn Levitt. Dems should be worried about losing the working class. Bill Maher. Oh, God, would you stop with this Bill Maher? How much is he paying you to write what he says? The left's narrative on Project 2025 is wrong. Nobody cares about Bill Maher. I hate to tell you, he's all over the place. He's a man desperately trying to hide his own perversion and act like some Nostradamus, some Pythonic Vatic, what have you. MSNBC's Wagner. Harris is avoiding specificity while trying to appease the Dems. This is going on. Blue State Blues. Why Trump has the edge after the DNC. Democrats not feeling joy. Kamala playing defense. Trump must look to the future. Chris Matthews. Kamala has to avoid the left wing. This is beautiful. I'll be going through all this nonsense. Now, before we forget, before we forget, listen to what I'm saying. Crypto Domini says, does the RFK devotees bridge to Trump make up for the undecided vote? Maybe. It depends where, dear friend. It depends where. Where are these people going to get this? What states? What areas? What? Of course it can help. We will see. He's staying on the ballot in uncontested states. Okay, maybe that's all right, I guess. And in in battleground state, he's taking his name off. Do you understand that? Good. Before I begin, I already have begun. I want to make sure I mention two things, which is critical. Actually, three. I want you to understand that on the 26th of October, I'm going to be in New York City, and I want to see you. This will be the 10 days before the election. Think about this. It will be 10 days before the election. This is it. At the Cutting Room in New York City, there is the link for tickets and the like. We go there, we talk, and you are my guest. We have cards, we ask questions. It's not stand up. It's not, everybody, a lot of these people have these routines already determined. It's not that. The events will determine what we talk about. They will be written sometimes moments before the show. It's not I'm going to tell a joke and you're going to laugh. You'll laugh at a lot of stuff because of the absurdity that I'm able to focus and bring to your attention. Because what's so funny is not what I'm saying, but in how I point out sometimes the obvious stuff that is, for lack of a better word, hysterically nuts. So that's the 26th. That's right there. Next, our great sponsor, my Patriot Supply, but the site is preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to say this very quickly. They've been good to me and I'm good to them. There is a $300 special, right now for emergency food supply kits. Right now, you can save $300 if you buy today. Do you hear what I am saying? And listen carefully. Listen carefully. I don't have to tell you how things are going to hit the fan at some point in the immediate future. I don't know how to tell you that. I don't know how to bring it to your attention. I don't know how to make you aware of that. I don't know how it's going to happen, if it's going to be through natural disasters, it's going to be supply chain. I don't know. But if you, honest to God, need me to convince you that having emergency food that is good for 75 years, that will outlive you, if you need me to explain the benefit of this, you shouldn't be holding sharp objects or driving a car, but you're smarter than that. Preparewithlionel.com. Go and see for yourself. Just look at the site. Look at what they've got available. It's genius how they have anticipated disaster, and dare I say, stylishly. Get this, stick it in your garage, and don't worry about it for 75 years. I hope you never have to worry about it. That means it's uninterrupted. 75 years. Okay, good. Did I say 75 years? How about 25 years? I get so excited. I said 75 years, 25 years. It's 25 years. 75 years, 25 years. And for many of you, that's your lifetime. But it really depends, okay? I'm sorry. I get very, very excited about this. 25 years. Forgive me. It's been a rough day. A lot of driving, a lot of whoop-de-doing. No alcohol or drugs involved. Heavy sedation, yes, but no in that. And finally, this man, mypillow.com, Mike Lindell, hero, libertist, patriot, under the gun, focused, targeted by everybody you can imagine. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, the best, the most delicate and wonderful items of luxuriation you will ever see. That simple. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. There's the link. Okay. Thank you for that. Listen to me about Bobby Kennedy. If Bobby Kennedy had said, I'm stepping down now, and I'm going to ask everybody, my followers, my supporters, to go with Gay Mala, that's not good. He realizes he's putting his balls on the line and going with Trump. Is that good? Yes. Yes. We'll see what it does. Yes. Yes. Now I'm going to explain this, and I know you. I know you know this, but I'm going to explain this. For people who love him, it's the greatest thing in the world. For people who hate Bobby Kennedy, it doesn't matter. For those people who are in the middle, they might say, that's very interesting. That's weird. Because that's not just somebody that's not, Ted Cruz endorsing him. That's different. That's a different story. That's wonderful. So, number one, do you understand what I'm saying? This is good news. And I want you to do me a favor. I want you to take this, and I want you to put this over here in the good news pile and just leave it alone. Just let it go. Good news, Bobby Kennedy is endorsing Trump. Good news. Leave it there. You got it? Leave it there. Am I okay? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great. Okay, that's number one. Remember, because as we speak, my friends, remember, this is Uncle Lenny telling you what to do. As we speak, we've got 73 days. 73 days. Understand, listen to me, and listen carefully. That's number one. Number two, may I talk to you about something else? There is something, hang on a minute. I want to tell you something which is, let me get this out complete. Here we go. This may be a good thing for you, but I'm going to tell you this is something that is so stupid. The president and everybody should stay away. I'm reading here, that a high-profile fundraiser has been held at President Trump's New Jersey Golf Club, aiming to raise over $1 million, with the proceeds going directly to cover the legal fees of January 6th Capitol protesters. Dubbed J6 Awards Gala, the fundraiser is being held independently of Trump's campaign, but event organizers tell Fox Business that the former president has been invited as headline speaker. It will be held at his own Bedminster Golf Club on September the 5th, and his attendance is pending final confirmation. I believe Rudy Giuliani might be there, and whatever. Okay? Listen to me and listen carefully. Stop this. Get away from this. If you want to help these people, help these people. Go ahead. I'm for it. Help them. The same way that Gay Mala helped the Minnesota BLM and Antifa types. Get this out of Bedminster. Do not mention Trump at all. Stay away from this. Not until after the election. Repeat, this is the most stupid thing I have ever heard in my life. Are you out of your mind. Who agreed this? Get his picture off. You want to spend money for and Rudy Giuliani? I loved Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, I think, is the greatest mayor. I know him personally. I think he's wonderful. What he did as a mayor, oh my God. He's out of his tree now. Something's not right with him. Whether he's drinking, stop drinking, he's on the balls of his ass. I'm sorry. He is a loose cannon. He's falling down. Get him out of here. Get rid of him until after the election. Until after the election. Then you can do what you want. Americans do not see January 6th the way you do. You're not going to teach them. You're not going to explain this to them. You're not going to say, no, you don't understand. There we go. Now, let me say this again. Do not mention January 6th again. Do not mention January 6th again. Do not mention January 6th again. Ever. Do I make myself clear? Everybody understand this? Lori Cook says, y'all, Bobby is brave. If he trusts Trump, his people will give a chance. Indeed. Absolutely indeed. It's wonderful. Do not mention January 6 protesters. Do not mention Ashley Babbitt. Do not mention nothing. It's not yours. You've got pending cases. Drop it. Do I make myself clear? Bruh, literally, drop it. Does this make sense to you? This makes sense to you? Do you understand this? Do you understand that it serves you no purpose? Why are you bringing this up? Because we're right. Who's get this out of there? If you want to help these people, do me a favor. Find out their names and let Trump go to all his big shot business friends and donate to some kind of quiet, I don't know. In fact, people are not going to want to donate personally, because it was still one of the most stupid things that anybody ever did. Stupid. Democrats could do it because nothing would happen to them. Democrats could do this because if this was a Republican DOJ, nothing would happen to them. Democrats do stuff. BLM, nothing happened to them. Nothing happened to Antifa. Nothing. Democrats can get away with it. Republicans can't. Don't you understand how this thing works? This is the part that drives me crazy. This is the part that makes me realize these people don't understand what's going on. Let it go. Stop it. We have stuff to say. January 6th is over. We have don't explain it. Don't hold it dear to your heart. Ignore it. Do I make sense? Everybody agree? I want to win this damn thing, and I don't want you to bring up stuff that nobody understands. I'm going to have to stop and explain. Don't do it. There are a lot of things I would love to talk about. I don't talk about. Not if I'm going to run for office. Now, right now. Oh. Another thing too is, let me see if I can say this. I think personally, as I mentioned, it'd be great to have in Trump's cabinet Tulsi Gabbard, General Flynn, Vivek Ramaswamy. By the way, did you ever hear the story that Vivek and Vance's wife were, I don't think anything serious, but kind of like interest, or she was interested in him, or he was interested in her, or something. Some kind of like kind of makes sense, you know. Whatever. You might hear it. There's all kinds of stuff going on. All kinds of wild stuff. By the way, you may not care about this, but I'll give you some side stuff. Number one, watch what happens to Harry. Prince Meghan is ready to bail at any moment. They're going to bounce his ass out of here. That's going to get real good. Number two, nobody's mentioned Kate Middleton. See? Kate Middleton. Nowhere to be found. Nowhere. 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 See, that's the beautiful thing. Things just go away. People just forget things. They just forget things. Do you understand how this thing works? Yes. Yes, you understand how things work. And when they're forgotten, they're forgotten. Okay, so I think Tulsi would be great. I think that even Bannon, I don't know if he can be confirmed, but bring them on. But don't mention their names until after the election. This is about Trump. I wouldn't even mention Vance. Vance is okay. This is about Trump. Nobody else. Nobody wants to hear how you love Tulsi Gabbard. She creeps some people out. I think she's great. That's fine. After. Now it's time to get real serious with this stuff right now. Now we're getting into it. Now let's look and pay attention. The Democrats are freaking out because they're saying, now what do we do? Now what do we do? You think I'm kidding? The word is the the big shots are saying, how are we doing on the mail-ins? See, when you bring this up to people, they don't. I have a dear friend of mine. And the other day, he happened to bring up a certain event that happened on the 11th day of the 9th month, 23 years ago. And I said, well, okay. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Let me let you know what I see. Okay. Let me let you know what I see about this. And let me give you some facts and some questions I have. And he didn't know what I was talking about. And I said, that's why I don't talk to you about things, because you don't understand anything. You just read maybe a newspaper. Maybe you'll watch CNN. Maybe you'll read, God forbid, Wikipedia, which is the most brilliant. It's great on basic things like, history, like the history of Argentina, or when did Hugh Beaumont die? Things like that. But it's not good for anything else. CR says, where are the missing children, Kamala? Oh, you're so right about that. Where are they? How about this? 300, at least 320,000 vanished, disappeared. Young people, gone. That's a beautiful one right there. Oh my God. Mrs. L the other day was at a Times Square rally for mothers and victims of fentanyl. And these women were standing there with pictures of their children. And many were saying, may this never happen to another parent again, ever. Now, let's go back to the platform. Rule number one. Get on the phone and say, you're not going to have Bedminster, Trump anything involved in January 6th. Do I make myself? I don't care if he has nothing to do. And if Trump shows up, I know he was officially lose his mind. Why are you making things worse? Why are you giving these people anything to say? Brad Oplin says, what are the 1, 2, 3 memes to the vote? What are the 1, 2, 3 memes to the vote? The 1, 2, 3 memes to the vote. I don't know what that means. Maybe the top 3. I don't know what that means. But thank you for that. Rule number 1, that's it. Rule number 2, only talk about you. I'm sorry, Vance. He's not really, nobody's voting for Vance. You came first, then came Vance. We will agree later on. Vance was a mistake, but that's moot at this point. It's moot. It doesn't really matter. He's nothing big, nothing great. He's good, but he's nothing. We could have done better. But you know what? Put this again next to the January 6th over there. Boom. Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy. That's great. Thanks, Bobby. Keep talking. I like this stuff. Throw things out. Bobby's good to keep throwing stuff at the Democrats. I love that. Boom. Now, as I mentioned this morning, what he's going about food is wonderful. But Americans, let me stop for a second. How would you best tell people that our vegetables and fruits are sprayed with chemicals? Let me show you something. There's a couple of things you need to know about. There's this thing, for example, called the Dirty Dozen. And there's this thing, Dirty Dozen, a list of fruits and vegetables with the most pesticides on them. Strawberries, spinach, kale, collard, mustard greens, grapes, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, bell, and hot peppers, cherries, blueberries, and green beans, and it goes on and on. It's called the Dirty Dozen, and things that are affected. Over 90% of samples of strawberries, apples, cherries, spinach, nectarines, and grapes tested positive for residues of 2 or more pesticides. More than 50 pesticides were detected on samples from each of Dirty Dozen. Blah 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 blah. Now, that's Bobby Kennedy. Sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, sorta. Except for a couple of things. Number one, most people say, I don't need any fruits and vegetables. I'm doing all right. Most vegetables, most Americans have no kale. They've never had maybe a kale. I don't know. By the way, today, Mrs. Allen and I had we were out tooling about, and we stopped, and there's a great little place. I'm telling you, I'm a big fan, and I always do. I always look around. She and I walk around. We always take these samplings of Cheesecake Factory. What an operation! What a menu! What an operation! You can get anything you want there. Anything you want. Any menu. They're great. I'm looking around. And I'm saying very ecumenical, very, very. If ever you want to see black and white almost perfectly combined together, Cheesecake Factory. I don't know where you are, but this was in our neck of the woods. And what I noticed was most people are eating nothing. Salads did not make a big part of this whole thing. So the good news is, and that's just a mild sampling. So the good news is, I'm glad that he's bringing it up. But that's not the way you tell people. You don't tell people, our vegetables. See, that's the reason why I don't eat vegetables. Because they're sprayed with all that stuff. And the organic, I'm not going to spray. No. So how do you tell people that? How do you tell people that same news? When I tell you this, it's so easy. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe this, okay? Number one, you tell people that they don't do this in China. You don't see this in China. You don't have babies eating microplastics, brain bleeds by virtue. We are the only country in the world where we actually fought. We fought and lost about a labeling that merely told you which foods are GMOs. Our good friend Crypto Domini says pre-Gamala kale burger $6, post $16. It's everywhere. That's why I talk about food. That's why I talk about preparewithlionel.com. Wait until the other problems happen just with this. See, we always think food is just like, well, of course it's good. There it is. Little health tip. Ready for this? Listen to me. Listen to Uncle Lenny. I know what I'm talking about. One of the biggest jokes ever is the idea of buy fresh. When you go to the store and they have them out there, these lovely displays, and even sometimes I hate to say it, even as places like, um, well, I mean, farm to table is good and organic at farmers market. That's all right, and especially if it's not a lot of pesticides, and that's terrific, and that's good. But when you go to stores, you don't know how old the stuff is. One of the fresh, if you're going to buy, listen to me. If you're ever buying anything for smoothies or which is another story, but vegetables, frozen vegetables and fruits are the best because they are picked and then flash frozen immediately. They hold more of their bioavailable phytonutrients than non-frozen. Frozen sounds bad, not when it comes to this. Not when it comes to this. You can go, I'm telling you, just in the Whole Foods, they've got in the organics, they've got the regular, like the fire, whatever, charred corn and kale and blueberries and strawberries and this frozen, the most perfect and the most nutritious in terms of bioavailable phytonutrients. See, that's why sometimes when people take pills, pills are great, but are they bioavailable? Are you really getting what you think is vitamin C, or what are you getting? Anyway, long story short. Andrew Hessing says, Mr. L got a BA accepted and went to law school 1 year and worked for a law firm. Disgusted after 1 year. Definitely not the legal minds of the past. Agreed. You know what? It's not for everybody, my friend. It's absolutely not for everybody. And I appreciate your gumption nonetheless. Nonetheless. Okay. Going back to Bobby Kennedy. If you're going to talk to Americans about food, you have to say that we are not being protected. We are not being watched over. That the crap they're feeding to us, they don't use in other countries. Putin years ago had said no to GMOs. Genetically modified organisms. What is it? There was a stuff called, I don't know if they probably still do have it, called BT corn. BT corn. BT corn basically expresses a natural insecticide in corn. It kills bugs and is repellent to bugs, but it's okay for humans. What are you talking about? BT corn. Corn that had a natural insecticide. It killed or repelled bugs. You think this is good for us? Well, there's no evidence. Who's doing research on this? It's great for farmers. I just cut down my insecticide. I have to spray it. Well, there's no pesticides on it because it's in the corn. Or what if something's in the corn? I don't even know what it is. When you alter things, this is a genetically modified, it looks like wheat, grows like wheat, maybe grows faster than wheat, maybe grows fuller and thicker and fatter. But what is it? Well, it's wheat. I don't know. Is it? Are you sure? So when California years ago just wanted to have a labeling, this is, listen, we're not going to ban this. Just have something that says GMOs. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. They said, oh, no, no. We're not going to do that. No, 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 no. No, that's not going to happen. Sorry. That ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. No, no. All we want is a label. No, no. So Bobby Kennedy has to bring that up. Bobby Kennedy has to bring up and maybe say some things that people will listen to and explain the absolutely diabolical horrors of the Democratic Party. The diabolical horrors. But you have to tell people in a way where you're not treating them stupidly, you're not overcomplicating it, and you're able to say things that maybe gets their attention. There's one thing and one thing that you should know. When you go to a store and you go to the a regular grocery store. You pick a little box of juice for your grandbaby or your grandchild or and you look at it and there's things on the side that say yellow, because these instructions, these ingredients are not. I don't know necessarily what they are. You just assume they're okay, right? You assume nobody's going to hurt you, right? How do you know? Do I have to tell you? Do I have to tell you what they did to us before? And they said, "Oh my God, you're right. We didn't know. Thalidomide, DES, diethylsilbustrol. Remember that? Viex, things we take off of the market. Oh no, dyes. There are some dyes and some chemical. You don't hear about this. I have a friend of mine who believes that if your doctor gives you something, it's safe. If your government orders something, it's safe. If it's on the shelf in a little carton with a picture of a sunshine and some kids laughing, it's safe. And this is what Bobby Kennedy's going to tell people. You're assuming it's safe. And that years later we find out, wait a minute, it's not safe. Because we don't even know. Microplastics. Dear God, what is this? Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, little girls are enjoying, the word I use the word enjoying correctly, but it sounds, but they are experiencing puberty, menarche, menses, menstruation, breast development at earlier and earlier ages. There used to be this thing in school where so-and-so was a late bloomer. Little kids would be in this, he's in 8th grade, and then I remember I was in high school and over the summer. You ever hear those stories where these girls who they developed? My father years ago pulled the biggest con on me ever. He used to mow the lawn. I said, "Can I mow the lawn?" "You're not big enough." "What?" "You're not old enough. You're not able to handle this." So he got me a little toy, I got pictures of it, toy lawnmower. And I was behind him pushing the thing. "Come on, Dad. Will you let me do this?" "No, you're not old enough. You're not strong enough. You're not a man." Oh, Jesus. And one day he says, "Congratulations, son. You're a man today. Here it is." And it was a Toro in Florida, 103 in the shade. And I'm behind this gas belching thing with a bag. We had to empty the bag, not just spraying the chopped, freshly hewn grass blades, the Bahia, the St. Augustine. No. I had to stop, turn it off, empty the bag, stick my hand in the thing, get all the, put them into the, and then shake, and then crank it up again. So one day I said to my father, I said, "Hey, how come my sister isn't doing this?" "No. Why?" "She's developing." I said, "What?" "She can't do this. She's developing." I said, "What the hell am I doing? I got 3 testicles here. I'm pushing this thing so hard. It's not self-propelled. What about me? I'm developing into what? A eunuch. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This cannot be good for me." I can see all kinds of inguinal stress and fractures and hernias and herniated testicular, elephantiasis from pushing and straining. You're okay. She's developing. Girls used to develop. Now they're developing in 3rd grade. Why? Because of the hormones. And it's okay. You've got doctors who were thinking it's a good idea to have surgery again with little girls or little boys to castrate and sexually mutilate them. And you expect them to look after your grandkids' fruit juice? Nobody's in charge. And once big agra, screw big pharma. That's not the mafia. The mafia is big agra. Oh my God. Bayer or Bayer, as you would call it, not Monsanto. Oh dear God. Oh, you want to talk about money? You think big tech's got something? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Wake up. Who's going to protect you? Who is out to protect you? Anybody? Is anybody protecting you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's the stuff that Bobby Kennedy has to say. That's the stuff. That's what it is. He has to make it sound like, wow, don't give me this stuff about if it's not good for me. Okay, good for me, bad for me, whatever the hell that means. I don't even know what the hell that's. So that's good. Let him go. Go, Bobby, go. Let him have it. Let him have it. All you got to do this is say, why is there so? Hey, folks. Hi, my name is Bobby Kennedy Jr. Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you. When you were a kid, did you ever hear of anything called peanut allergies? Anybody? Peanut allergies. This is the most. Remember the lawsuit, the Disney lawsuit. The kid ate something. They said there's no peanuts in there. Ate it, died, had anaphylaxis, and died. You ever hear of peanut allergies? I never heard of that. I never heard anything of nut trees. Is there peanuts in here? I don't know. I guess maybe. Sometimes you hear about shellfish, and don't be shellfish. Iodine, peanut allergies. You eat it, and they die. Why do you think that's happening? Because they're not peanuts. I don't know what they are. Peanuts. I don't know what the hell they. What do I need to tell you? What do I need to tell? Do you hear this? But they're saying, I wonder what this is. Well, maybe we'll have a vaccine against peanuts. No. When you were a kid, did you ever know anybody? Listen to me carefully. In your family, on your block, in your neighborhood, at your school, who was autistic or on the spectrum? Do you have anything on the spectrum? Did you know anybody on the spectrum when you were kids? What the hell does that mean? You had somebody might have been like a behavior problem. One time they had hyperkinesis. He won't sit down. They didn't give anybody any medication. It was never done. You either told this kid we're going to fail your ass or he moved, but somehow it just never happened. Never know a kid walking, what's the matter? Well, he's, I don't know. Why, he's just on, I don't know, man. Well, just, what do you mean? Well, he's just, what is it? Well, we don't want to call, they used to call it dementia praecox or precox, meaning precox, mean pre-cooked from the stem of the word precocious. And they thought autism was a form of like schizophrenia or something. And they called it like an early onset schizophrenia or dementia or precon. They said, oh, no. Ask parents. And by the way, this is called a joke without a punchline. Have you noticed that there's more people? Anybody in the government concerned about that? No. Anybody thinking that maybe there might be some, anybody asking, hey, what kind of peanuts are out there? Oh, no. Is there anything different in the kind of peanuts? It's the same people, same us. We haven't sprouted a new arm, a new leg. We're the same people. Why do you think all of a sudden this is happening? Anybody asking a question? Why are there more autistic kids? I don't know. Does anybody care about this? No. They'll say, you know what we'll do? We'll give you a new label. We'll give it a label. We used to call it Asperger's. Now we'll call it spectrum disorder. Get it all inclusive. What do you have? You have obstructional defiance disorder. How many times have you, ladies and gentlemen, ever heard of this thing called, you ready for this? Anxiety. I have anxiety. You don't know what I know. Spend 1 month, because it'll take you there, because you can't do this all day long. And I want you to go to YouTube and I want you to put in Karen's arrested, women arrested, just arrested, police stops. And they have these, and I remember the time, many friends of mine in law enforcement were saying, these camera vests are going to be terrible because we're really going to be exposed to a lot of liability that we didn't experience before. It turns out it was the best thing that ever happened. It was the best thing that ever happened. It was wonderful because it gave us the best videos you've ever seen in your life. Okay. Hang on a minute. GR, by the way, I'm so sorry I missed you. Next to Lionel, 2-month chip. I love that. I love hearing your thought process. So glad RFK Jr. To okay the opportunity to reintroduce something that the hippies and punks were right about from the 70s and the 80s. Absolutely, but make sure you're saying it for the right reason. The way I'm doing it is I'll tell you the right thing. But just like, for example, remember years ago, maybe you don't remember this. There was a time in the 1975, 76, Son of Sam. People were petrified. Johnny Maz the Spaz says, I grew up in the 70s, never heard of peanut allergy. I didn't either. I was born in 58. August of 26, as a matter of fact. And I never heard it. Never heard anything. I was allergic to penicillin, I think one time, because that's it. Never heard of it. I never heard. Sort of going back to these police things. These people who were pulled over, they say, I have anxiety. Get away from me. What? Get away from me. Hey, lady, I'm a cop. I'm not feeling good about this. Just leave me alone. What? Wait a minute. What? It's a cop. Step out of the car. You can't make me. Yes, they can. Here's another one for you. Remember the old days where you thought, we don't have to tell people our names. Yes, you do. Most, if not all jurisdictions say, if they ask you for who you are, you got to tell them. So what they do is this. It's not against the law not to tell the police. They'll just have to arrest you and bring you in to find out who you are. But you don't have to tell them. But you'll be locked up until they figure out who it is. So it's up to you. It's just like when you get a speeding ticket. And some people say, I'm not going to sign that. No, you don't. This doesn't admit guilt. This just means I gave it to you. You got it. I'm not going to sign that. Okay. Then come down to us in the jail and you'll post a bond. This is in lieu of a bond, you schmuck. This is a benefit. But people today have this idea that I don't need this. So people are crazy. Why do you think that is? Do you think they're all crazy today because of what? Of social media? No. You live in an environment where you are absolutely being bombarded by chemicals you've never heard of. You're eating things that nature doesn't even exist in nature. You're under a constant bathing of 5G and Wi-Fi, and you live in a world that's sprayed constantly with some kind of a nanotechnology. I don't know what this is. Strontium, barium. I don't know what this stratosphere, solar radiation management. They've admitted it. Solar radiation management, carbon dioxide removal. You call them chemtrails. I never do. That's the conspiracy theory. Geoengineering, that's okay. Is anybody asking you this? Do you think, ladies and gentlemen, you have the right to ask your government, what are we eating? But you're not going to hear the Democrats say this. And by the way, another thing I would suggest, don't even say Kamala, say Democrats. It's not her fault. If all of a sudden, God forbid, somebody said, we made a mistake. We didn't want, we didn't, I'm sorry. Kamala, we're so sorry. We didn't mean you. We wanted Roberta Mengelhoff. Who's that? That's the one we wanted. Roberta, step in. She's the new nominee. You know what? It wouldn't matter because they would hand Kamala's script over to Roberta Mengelhoff. And she's going to say it because the Democrats speak in unison. They may look different. They may seem different. They may look shorter, fatter. They may look like Jerry Nadler. Oh, have you seen? Check out Kamala's sister's husband, Tony West, and Maya. Oh, that's an aside. Look at the two and see if you don't think there's any kind of sisterly rivalry going on there. That's all I'm saying. So, Bobby Kennedy, good for you. There is, remember, you're not perfect. You don't have to be. But when you go out, ask them. Don't tell them something. Ask them. Ask them. What do you think? How many kids do you know are either on the spectrum, have behavioral disorders, or under psychiatrist care, or on some kind of medication for depression or mood alteration? How many do you know this? Why do you think that is, ladies and gentlemen? Any idea? Any idea? Any clue as to why that is? Anybody? Does anybody have any clue as to why that is? I'll leave it at that. That's the stuff. It's so wonderful. Do not believe a word of what you're hearing about this wonderful man or woman, this thing. Don't believe it for a moment. I cannot say this enough to you. And we're not talking about weird, funky lab meat and fake meat. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about any of this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, you deserve the right to eat anything you want. And I guess there's some version of fire in a crowded theater. You might not want to eat, pets or things. Okay, whatever. But for the most part, we don't want to live in a world where meat is we're not going to kill the meat industry or take it away or peanut. No. No. There are certain fundamental rights. And one of the things that you enjoy that gives you succor, SUCCOR, and a feeling of enjoyment is what you eat. Nothing should get in the way of this. But I don't think it's too much for your government, who wants to stick its nose in everything you're doing, to be able to tell you this stuff's safe. We're going to make sure that we're not going to have some big agri concern buy us off for what you and your kids eat. You're going to be able to presume that you're not eating poison. Andrew says, worked in food manufacturing, Wonderbread, butternut, etc. When they decided to put new ingredients, poof, all of a sudden, it doesn't mold anymore. Oh, yes. My beloved grandmother, I'll never forget that. She had this thing. Sitting at our parents' table. And my grandmother said, this is, there was, in Tampa, you had regular bread. Well, the bread that we bought, you always bought fresh, was Cuban bread. La Segunda, Fido's, Olympia Bakery, all the classics. But La Segunda Central was like, this is in Ybor City. And you bought the long Cuban bread with the palm frond down the middle, and it was good. And you better eat it, because tomorrow, and the next day, it's going to go like that. And you can make breadcrumbs out of it, or maybe toast. It's always good toasted, but it was no preservatives. And my mother and my grandmother one time said, "Oh, this is good bread. Look at this." It was hard as a rock, and it was this long, so it's like a lightsaber. It was out a couple of days. It goes, look, it's already hard. That's good. Now this, she had Wonderbread, and she just squeezed it or squoze it. And look at this. This is like weeks old. This is sick. This is sick. I don't know what this stuff is. She knew. Andy Armour said, bro, there are 1,000 children still missing in Lahaina. Literally. Lahaina. Oops. Thank you, Andy. Forgot about that. Lahaina. What about all the property that Oprah bought up? What about that? Does that mean anything to you? What about the property Oprah brought up? See, we have this thing in this world. It's the strangest thing. It's this amnesia. We just don't do anything. And I would love to sit there and be able to just ask somebody a question. I want you to go home and I want you to know something. Who's looking out for you? Who really is looking out for you? The thing that I'm doing is I'm your president. And Mrs. Trump saying, I was your president. I looked out for you. There's no war here. I can't tell you the stuff that I averted because a lot of it is still classified. But they respected us. This is what gas prices were. How do you think that was? Why do you think the gas prices were? What, do we have more gas then? No. It's a commodity. Why do you think gas prices just a couple of years ago were lower? And why could they go back down tomorrow? It's not about the gas. Hey, we found more. Prices go down. It doesn't work like that. Most people don't even understand that. Most people don't grasp that. The reason for, let me explain to you this thing called unemployment. See, unemployment is one of these things where, let me give you an example. You know that game whack-a-mole where you go like that and the thing pops up and you hit them and you go, oh, there you go, got him. Imagine if I hit here, but the mole is over there. He gets hit over there. What do I mean? Let's say if I wanted to cause a spike in restaurant fees, what would I do? What would you do? Ladies and gentlemen, you're me, you're the governor, let's say, and you want to raise restaurant prices. Because I'm always looking at, I'm saying Cheesecake Factory. I think it's just a great, it's just so, it's packed. It's not cheap. And it's always packed. And the prices. But if I wanted to increase these prices, what would I do? What would you do? Simple. Raise the minimum wage. Whack-a-mole. You hit them here, you feel it there. If I make a restaurateur pay more here, guess who's going to have to pay for it? You. If I increase the sales time, you pay more. If I pay licensing fees, you pay more. If I make liquor licenses, you pay more. If I minimum wage, you pay more. If I double minimum, you pay more. If it's never, nobody ever says, oh, I'm going to absorb this. No, I'm going to pass this on. And it never stops. It never stops. That's all the economics you need. And you see, my friends, when you're the president, there's always somebody saying, listen, work with us, screw the public. Okay. We're big agra. Work with us, screw the public. Remember years ago, how many people in Monsanto? There was a guy named Michael. No. Was it Lawrence? Was his name like Lawrence Taylor or something? I remember his name. He was the head of Monsanto. Then he went to the FDA, and it was a revolving door. Do you understand what this is? Monsanto, remember the seeds? They wanted to, this is bigger than anything you can imagine. And if you really scare somebody, I'm going to talk to you about something which I've been talking about for the longest time, my friends. And I promise you, if you brought this up, if you went to any Democrat, including Kamala, and don't forget, it's not her fault. She's just doing what they tell her. You minimize her. Always minimize her role by saying she's just a puppet. Don't yell at her. Don't yell at her. If you don't like Hamlet, don't blame Shakespeare. This is just the actor. She's reading the script. But I'm going to say something to you, ladies and gentlemen, my dear fellow Americans, and I promise you, you will never hear anybody. And with all due respect to my friend, my Republican colleague, same way for you. And I'm not a Republican, I'm just as if I were Trump. Water. Who owns the water? Who controls the water? Hydro imperialism. Who owns it? Where do you get your water from? Here in New York, we get it from these famous aquifers upstate Oh, the water was forever. It's always been out by now, but where's your water come from? Where? Who's in charge of that? Where does water come from? Years ago, my friends, when right around the time of gold exploration, all of these kings and these Spanish explorers would show up to Africa, and they come we wearing these ostrich plumes on a horse, and they take over, and they wanted the minerals, and they wanted the gold, gold, gold. And before that, it was timber and land and copper and mining, but gold, and it was gold. Gold was in South America. Gold was in Africa. Diamonds. They just went and they took them. And it just later switched. And then around the turn of the 20th century, all of a sudden, lo and behold, oil. Where was oil? That's right, Middle East. In there, Saudi Arabia and others, and that was wonderful. And then later on came these things called rare earth metals. Rare earth metals that are so hard to mine. It takes an acre to mine to get maybe a quart of whatever this stuff is. And I'm exaggerating, but that's why it's so difficult. It's not like gold. This stuff you sift and process forever. Lithium, just so happens that Afghanistan is still the Saudi Arabia of lithium, and gold and others as well. We just took it. Billions of, and then one day, when all of this was done, they said, what about water? Water. Hydro imperialism. The next casus belli. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. I've read intelligence reports. They're not talking to you about this. Who owns the water? Check out Nestle. There's a couple of French corporations that are going to own all the water. And can I take the water from something? If I drill in Uruguay or Paraguay or Paraguay or Argentina or from the whose is it? Hydro imperialism. Nobody's discussing this. The great, and he was great, Muammar Gaddafi decided he was going to make arable, A-R-A-B-L-E, arable, the land of Libya. And it sat atop the Nubian sandstone aquifer, one of the largest aquifers on the planet. And he was going to pump $25 billion into that. Oh, no, you're not. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do the Democrats say to you? What do they tell you? What do they tell you when they want you to vote for them? What do they tell you? Well, first of all, they mention me 147 times. I'm honored, but you see what they're doing? They don't have anything. And it's not Kamala. She's not to blame. It's all of them. They all have the same script. What did they offer you? What did they promise you? What? What was their plan? What was their plan? Their platform sounded like a Christmas card, a birthday card. And we wish you the best. Here's to you, to health and goodness and puppy dogs and unicorns and a family and happy. That's it. Forward, love, happy, joy. We're joyful. We're happy. What the hell is this about? What are we talking about? Do they think you're stupid? I know they hate me. That's a given. Do they think you're stupid? I just explained to you 4, 5, 6, 7 problems that I am trying to address. They haven't mentioned one. They'll talk about me. Bring in Bobby Kennedy. This is the stuff that starts to say, wait a minute. What was this again now? And every now and then there's this thing, and whenever I hit them with water, that gets their attention. Don't bring up UFOs, don't bring up water. And finally, my friends, my dear beloved friends, my family, you are my family. I love you. I love you. I love you more than the day is long. But I say to you, dear friends, the following. Who is going to ensure that all of the ballots, the mail-ins, all of them are legitimately counted and accounted for? I'm going to say this every single day until somebody somewhere says, hey, you know what? There's this guy named Lenny, Uncle Lenny. Did you hear about him? Yeah, I heard about him too. Yeah. And he keeps talking about this. Bring in Lara. Lara, come here, honey. Yeah, listen. You're the co-chair of the GOP or RNC. And I know what it means. But anyway, let me ask you a question. There's this guy, Uncle Lenny. Oh, you heard of him too? Yeah. He's got a point. What exactly are we doing to ensure all of the ballots, all of the mail-ins, all of the absentees? Do we have that under control? Well, Charlie Cook. I don't hear about Charlie Cook. Well, we've got people at the polls. I'm not talking about poll watchers. They can stand there all day long. They can stand there all day long when they see a truck pull up and they have a big sack of stuff at the back and they empty these ballots out and they count the ballots. And Charlie Cook or whoever the hell it is can be counting all day long. What about that? How does that thing work? Andrew Hessing says, if people knew how terrible the conditions of mining lithium and cobalt were, which green energy has to have, and the conditions and what does of the earth. Oh, if they knew, Andrew, and also black diamonds in children, and it's horrid. And that's one of the reasons why China has no problem with rare earth metals in particular, because they figure, well, we've got more land you can imagine. We don't care. Wherever you want to just start drilling or mining or whatever it is. But I want to say this again, my friends. Every time I bring it up, people say, well, they just assume it's all taken care of. If I stood up and say, excuse me, yes, pardon me. Thank you, Philadelphia, just pick. Philadelphia Secretary of State or Supervisor of Elections Office. I'd like to show you something. I'm holding here this envelope. And this was just mailed to you from a ballot that was sent to 123 Main Street in Philly. It's right around here. Now, do any of you know what 123 Main Street is? Anybody? Has anybody looked up what is 123 Main Street? No, you're just assuming, I don't know what it is. It's a ballot. Very good. You know how many people use 123 Main Street as their address? What if I told you there were 10,000 ballots, all from 123 Main Street? Let's just assume. Could be 500, could be 50, could be 100. Would you think something was wrong with that? Would you say, wait a minute, there was something per se wrong with it? Can you ensure that's not true? No. Do you know what 123 Main Street is? Is it a vacant lot? Is it a UPS drop? I mean, what is this? Is it an apartment complex without apartment numbers? What if I told you that there are people, the postal union is behind Guatemala? Do you think it would be impossible for somebody some partisan to say, guess what? I know exactly what these things look for. And I'm in the sorting, and we get these things. We get them in bulk. And they look like this. Is the supervisor? I got them. 7 states, 15 counties. I don't know, 50,000 votes. Well, here, there. It's nothing. Can anybody? Because we can talk all day long about this stuff. Bobby Kennedy, this. Tulsi Gabbard, that. Kamala, this, the husband, the daughter-in-law. Who cares? Nobody will bring this up. Nobody. We have great stuff in the back. And it's very, very simple. And it's hard to find because we're not talking about anybody, throwing ballots away. We're talking about somebody just counting them. Some guy counting them. But where do they come from? What is the integrity of the voter rolls? How many people's names do not exist? Can you tell me, okay, I gave you this 123 Main Street. Okay, the guy's name is Jeremiah Jorgensen from 123. Is he on the list? Do you have a Jeremiah Jorgensen? Do you? At this address? No, I don't. Well, how do you know it's legit? Do you have a system that goes through and says, no, this is no good? Or you purge them? When was the last time you purged and fed? Maybe you did it this week. Please tell me you did, and I'll go away. Something tells me you did. And if you go to the Secretary of State's office or the supervisor of elections or whatever, they're not going to tell you that they're incompetent or they're on the take or whatever. No, they're going to say everything's fine. Go away and leave me alone. You're a conspiracy theorist. I'm telling you right now, my friends, and I want you to listen to me carefully. This is what'll lose the election. And while it's fun to talk about Bobby Kennedy and fun to talk about that, I'm going for something even more simple than this. What if I opened up the back of a truck? Look at this. I got 30,000 ballots right here. 30,000. And each one of them are going in. And they're all accounted for. Every single one of these ballots is from the Secretary of State's office. All of these names and addresses are in that office. I didn't make them up. That came from you. There's no cheating here. I mean, no, the cheating may be in how did I get the ballots, but all these names, they exist. Or at least they were on the voter rolls. Anybody talking about that? That we're wasting our time. And listen, would somebody pick up the phone and tell President Trump, do not say January 6th. Do not that was, look, you and I know was nonsense. You and I know that these people could not possibly overthrow the country. They weren't charged with overthrowing. They were charged with seditious conspiracy or trespass and whatever it was. It's moot. We're going to forget that. They were so poorly handled. But to other people, the official narrative of the Democratic Party is that this was the president basically involved in the destruction and the complete disintegration of liberty. So stop bringing this. Somebody's got to hold his hand. And somebody has got to hold his hand. And somebody's got to say, listen, we need this. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how many people actually know how the Electoral College works and why 270 is the magic number? Anybody know this? Does anybody know? How many do you think everybody that you know, how many people do you know think that the popular vote is the way we elect in this country? Raise your hand. Anybody? Good night, Sue. Where the hell's Sue going? What's this? Wait. What's this Sue going? Sue, good night, Sue. What the hell is this? What is this? Good night, Irene. Good night, Sue. Night all. Sue, where are you going? Night? What do you mean night? Unless you're in some kind of a foreign country with a weird, time thing, and it's 8:21. What do you mean night? Sue had to go. Be Dennis. Sue had to go. Sue never checked with me. Sue, you just don't leave. What's going on here? Sue's a part of this thing. Sue is as much a part of the heart, the spirit, and the focus of this organization as anybody else. You just don't say, I got to go. Please, stop it. All right. CIA Director Kennedy, don't mention this until afterwards. Don't let anybody talk about anything other than the president, President Trump. You got it? Okay, that's that. Okay, I got that. I think Sue gave us a hint. Andrew Hessing, thank you, my friend. Andy Armour, thank you. Thank you. Johnny Maz, the Spaz. GR, thank you, my friend. Crypto Domini, Big Dick from Chi-Town. Bradley Opland, thank you. CR, drive carefully. Got that front seat picture there. Lori Cuck. Cuck's got a new picture. I don't know what the hell that is. I can't see. I've got to blow these things up here. And God bless you for all that stuff. God bless yous for all that stuff. Okay, my friends, remember, October the 26th, Cutting Room, I told you, that is it. Also, right now, one more time, mypillow.com promo code Lionel. mypillow.com promo code Lionel. Hey, wait a minute, everybody. There she is, Laura. You wonder, where is Laura? Here she is. Laura says, Mr. L, planning to attend your October 26th shindig. Thought I'd explore the intriguing Gramercy Park, home of Edith Wharton and Francis Bavier. Oh, haunt of Edwin Booth. Am I wrong that Gramercy Park remains interesting? Yes. Well, yes, in fact, the Gramercy Park does as well. And the Gramercy Park, there's a club. There's that, is that what you're talking about? The Gramercy Park Club where Edwin Booth had his apartment. Yes. Many, many, many things. You're very, very literate. I like that indeed. Yes. Go online, check with them. Last time I went to an event at Gramercy Park, I was doing a remote, kind of like one of these broadcast things, where I was a guest. And my good friend Styx Hexenhammer, was the other attendee via, um, um, you know, what am I trying to say? Online or whatever. So, but such a fascinating place. So much history indeed. Also, things like Teddy Roosevelt's homes there, right around in the Chelsea area. There's all this stuff that's just so much incredible. If you're into Alexander Hamilton, his joint, his his tomb or his mausoleum, I should say. Anyway, if that's what, but that's that. So thank you so much for that. Very, very kind indeed. You're very, very exceedingly kind indeed. Um, it's scary to think what it's going to feel like 10 days before the election. Doesn't that freak you out? What is that going to feel like? 10 days. What will the feel be like? And let me also warn you about this thing called the feel. I know it sounds kind of sort of good, but don't give it. Remember, it's a lot of misleading. It depends on what you're looking at, the particular feel you're having. Remember, though, the ballots versus the votes. So, in any event, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great and glorious day, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Have a great and glorious day and a wonderful day. And again, thank you. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. Don't forget that. And preparewithlionel.com for the impending apocalypse where food will be at a premium. Sorry to say this, but you know the truth is the truth. But you're smart. That's why you're here. All right, friends. Also, please, one more thing. Lynn's Warriors. Please follow her. Lynn's Warriors. Tom McLaughlin, by the way, said, weren't you saying that RFK Jr. was a fraud without explaining why you thought that? What happened to that line? Well, you know what he is, very frankly? Yeah. This is the guy who decided to come along and he wanted to have Shanahan as his vice president. Come on. Come on. As president? No. He's a guy who also decided later on he was going to hook up with Shmuley Botiak and he's Mr. Super Israel. And he's not talking about that. He said some things that are just, he has said some stuff that shows an absolute, as president, no. But as CIA head, NIH head, somebody in charge of some Department of Justice aspect, maybe in charge of assassination research, maybe, absolutely. He has a tremendous amount. But president, no. Because they didn't even want to give Secret Service protection to a Kennedy. And if anything happened to him, and the odds are, we'd get Shanahan? No. So, my friend, don't play around with that. If you're serious, Bobby, and you want to be taken seriously, you can't throw this ditch just because she was married to a Google dude. Don't do that to me. You're not going to win my vote. But as a member of the cabinet, absolutely. As somebody who has a tremendous amount of influence, absolutely. Somebody who can articulate the issues that really matter, absolutely. But as president, no. Did that clear that up for you? Did that? And as far as CIA head, you know what? That might be, if he can survive that. You know what happened the last time somebody wanted to tamper with the CIA? That's all I'm going to say. All right, dear friends, we love you. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you for your love and your kindness and your incredible intellectual fastidiousness. Have a great and a glorious day. Don't forget Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. And until then, my friend, remember, see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya.